The
The
Grand
anomaly
Galactic
threatens us
Council
all.
chamber
We must
hummed
act.
with quiet
Act how?
arrogance.
Your plan is reckless. We have no
Ambassador
choice. It's
Vreth
now
of
or
the
never.
Corelli Empire leaned his 8-limbed frame across the obsidian table, his bioluminescent scales flickering with amusement. Around him sat representatives of 37 species, the so-called apex deathworlders of the known galaxy. Creatures forged by brutal planets, violent suns, and murderous ecosystems. Every being in that room had clawed their civilization out of a world designed to kill them. They were magnificent, terrifying, proud. And they had never encountered a human being outside of wartime. That was about to change. The human delegation arrived on a Thursday. Ambassador James Holloway walked through the docking corridor with 2 aides, Dr. Patricia Reeves, a xenobiologist, and Colonel Marcus Webb, a retired military attaché. They wore no armor. No weapons. Just pressed diplomatic suits and mild expressions. Vreth studied them through the transparent barrier. Small. Soft. Bilaterally symmetrical. Their planet, Earth, they called it, had been classified a death world by galactic standards. Extreme axial tilt. Tectonic violence. Hypervariable weather. Megafauna. Microbes that ate other microbes. Yet these 3 creatures looked relaxed. They look like prey, whispered Ambassador Seelka of the Devani Collective, her 6 eyes narrowing with disbelief. They survived the death world, Vreth replied quietly. Remember that. Surviving and thriving are different things, Seelka said. Vreth said nothing. He had read the classified military reports. He knew what humans did in war. He simply had never seen what they did in peace. The
Ready when
council
you are.
hosted a
Let's do
diplomatic
this.
banquet,
Looking strong, gentlemen.
a tradition,
And that's the match.
an
You got
opportunity
me.
to observe other species in non-threatening social conditions. James Holloway sat beside Ambassador Vreth and immediately began asking questions, not strategic questions, not political questions. Personal ones. He wanted to know about Vretha's homeworld. About his family structure. About whether the Corelli had music. Vreth answered, cautiously at first, then with growing confusion. Humans, he was learning, were intensely curious. Endlessly curious. James leaned forward at every answer like a man starved for information, smiling, nodding, offering stories from his own life in return. Dr. Reeves had cornered 3 Devani scientists and was apparently attempting to learn their language on the spot, laughing at her own mistakes, asking them to correct her pronunciation. Colonel Webb had somehow ended up in the corner of the hall arm-wrestling a Corelli warrior twice his size. The warrior, a decorated veteran of the siege of Primos IV, had won the first match. Webb had laughed, shaken the creature's massive claw hand warmly, and challenged him to a rematch. They were on match number 6. Webb was winning 3 of them. Late in
You
the
can
evening,
produce
Vreth
both.
finally asked the
We are
question
dangerous
that had been
in
burning
war
in his
because
mind
we
since
end
the
it.
humans arrived. Ambassador Holloway, he said carefully, my people have studied your species extensively. In war, you are extraordinary. Relentless. Adaptive in ways that defy projection models. Your soldiers endure conditions that would break beings twice your physical size. He paused. But here, now, in peace, you seem almost harmless. How is this possible? How can the same species produce both? James set down his drink and thought about it for a genuine moment. I think, he said slowly, you're asking the wrong question. You're treating war like it reveals what we really are. But it doesn't. War is what happens when everything else fails. He glanced across the hall at Webb, who was now teaching the Corelli warrior a human card game. This, right here, this is what we really are. Curious. Loud. Friendly. Terrible at sitting still. He smiled. We're dangerous in war because we hate being there. We want to end it as fast as possible so we can go back to doing this.
The humans are not apex predators.
Vreth was
They are
quiet
explorers
for a
like a
long
hounded
moment.
one did walk into. My
3
recommendation,
days
do not
later,
interrupt them,
Vreth
ever.
filed his diplomatic assessment with the Karali High Command. The humans, he wrote, are not apex predators in the conventional sense. They do not carry themselves like hunters. They carry themselves like explorers who have never found a room they didn't want to walk into. This, I now believe, is precisely why they are so extraordinarily dangerous when provoked. War, for most species, is a state of being. For humans, it is an interruption. My recommendation: do not interrupt them. Ever. He sealed the report, leaned back in his chair, and stared at the ceiling for a long time. Down the corridor, he could hear James Holloway laughing at something, a big, unguarded, completely unself-conscious laugh that echoed off the ancient stone walls of the council chamber. Vreth decided, quietly, that he rather liked humans. That also frightened him considerably.